Whew. Time for a review. Time for a fucking review. Got my new fuckboy haircut. Let's get it. Let's start on a little depressing note. And yes, this is a review for Quadrophenia. You've seen the title. I don't need to tell you. You're not idiots. You guys are not idiots. Here's the thing. Watching films have not been that fun lately. It's been actually kind of depressing. This is probably because I'm having a hard time enjoying movies and watching films. It's not like the old days where I would watch anything and it would just be fun, no matter whether the film was good or bad. This is probably because I have seen at this point in time over 1,300 films, and I'm probably gonna see more. And when you see that many movies, it starts to weigh on you. You start to realize certain films are just the same copy of another movie. You get sick of the cliches. You get more bitter. Your standards become higher, and you're just not able to enjoy things as much as before. But the reason I watch films, I understand they're good or bad, I still focus on it, I write my notes, but usually that's all I'm doing. I'm just writing notes, I'm just critiquing it. I'm never enjoying it. But the main reason I constantly watch new films again and again and again is because I want that one movie to just come and wow me beyond belief. Because when a film just blows you away in the midst of watching so many movies, it is more euphoric than anything in the whole world. It's like listening to the Pixies or Janis Joplin for the first time. It's just mind-blowing. It's life-changing. And I just wanted a film to invest me so much to the point where I'll forget writing notes. And thank God, finally, this is that movie. Keep in mind, though I love The Who, I love The Who. They're easily one of the very few bands from the 60s that actually stand the test of time, and turns out they're still fucking awesome. Their albums are still amazing. But I have not listened to Quadrophenia yet. I've listened to Tommy, I listened to Who's Next, I listened to basically most of their albums from the 60s and the 70s, I just haven't listened to Quadrophenia for some reason, I just never had the time. But so I don't know how well this film is basing itself on the album. All I know is that it's about the mod culture and about this guy named Jimmy. So let's get into film. I'm just gonna get the technical elements out of the way because I want to focus on something else in the film. First of all, artistically, this film is extremely well made. The long takes, because there are a lot of long takes here, basically get you into the vibe of basically the youth culture of being mod. The music also helps a lot. You got the Ronettes, you got the Who. You get into these moments where the character's just walking around. Somebody's having sex in the bathroom. Somebody's having sex in that room. Somebody's doing drugs over there. Somebody's dancing. And you just get to see the whole thing. You get to get into that scene and what is the atmosphere is trying to get to you. And I like that there's a lot of very subtle symbolism. It's not over the top symbolism. It's just not in your face. The symbolism is very subtle because there's this great scene where the main character's in the stalls and you can't see him. We only see the outside the stalls, and two guys are talking about what's going on about this ad agency and what the new ad's gonna be like, and you just hear the main character throwing up in the stalls, and it's basically trying to say the main character is so appalled by this structured life that he's actually having a physical reaction to it. Like, those small moments actually makes the film, I hate to say deeper because it's pretentious, but it gives an edge. It's not just a film that has a story. Oh god, I sound like a fucking pretentious teenager. Wait, I'm back. Fucking cringeworthy moment right there. And I like the fact that it does foreshadow this idea of a breakdown about to happen in the movie. It constantly cuts to a violent scene, a character being, having a moment of a crisis. It constantly cuts to this newspaper article on the wall about this riot happening. And so when that breakdown and that riot, because a riot does happen in the film, when that riot happens, it makes sense. And because we were built up to that scene, it doesn't feel so out of place. Because it does come out of fucking nowhere at times. That's basically the technical elements out of the way. We're gonna get into the real thing. My hair, I fucking hate my hair right now. I'm not even a hair person, and I hate my hair. That's how much I hate it. Basically, this film, yes, it's celebrating mod culture. I get that, but at the same time, all I knew about it was that it's celebrating mod culture. What this film does is basically it celebrates it at first, and then it starts critiquing it, and then it just kills what mod culture represents. It's strangely a very objective view on mod culture. The beginning of the film is what you expect. You see the swagger and the youthful romanticism of the mod culture, and Phil Daniels as the main character Jimmy kills it. One of the best performances I have ever seen as this youthful guy who's just running around, having fun, and then at the end, we're gonna get to that. And, the soundtrack really gets you into the mood. Be My Baby by the Ronettes, My Generation by The Who. It gets you into that youthful, energetic mood, and you get into the romanticism. You actually get invested in every single thing about this main character, and about this gang, and about this culture. You don't even need to know anything about it. It's just so charismatically done. And the way it's shot, the way the houses are shot, it really does focus on how shabby the apartments are and how shabby the streets are. But because these characters are having so much fun in it, that shabbiness is strangely enough romanticized into something that's not that appalling, and then we get into the second structure of the film. We start to see the breakdown happening. The parents start to get angry, but one of the greatest elements of the film is that the parents are not villainized. There's this great scene where the father hits the main character, and they go into the living room, and they start talking, and this could easily end with the main character just saying fuck you and going up to his room. But they start talking about this uncle who was also kind of schizophrenic. And this uncle kind of killed himself in a really funny way. And they both laugh. And the father's like, just get up in your room. And even after the main character goes up to his room, you can see just how much confliction is going on in the father's face. He wants to understand his son. He wants problems to just go away because there are enough reality problems on their own, but he just doesn't know how to control all of this. And even till the end, nothing that the parents say or do are villainized. We get why they're frustrated. We get why they're angry. It's actually one of the most, like I said, it's a very objective view on mod culture because it humanizes everybody. And then the big gang riot happens. The mods and the rockers fight at Brighton, and he gets on with the girl, Steph. She's probably her full name's probably Stephanie, but they call her Steph in this movie. So the main character Jimmy gets on with the girl of his dreams, Steph, and it all looks great. It's all romanticized. Everybody's fighting. Even he shouts, "We were there. We are the mods," and everything feels so euphoric. And then the film flips. Suddenly, all those foreshadowing elements come together, and everything breaks down. He's kicked out of the house. He quits his job out of just sudden emotional anger. The girl, Steph, the girl of his dreams, goes for another guy instantly, and you realize just what kind of a girl this is. And the main character also realizes what kind of girl she is. He destroys his scooter. He also, and this is the main thing, he sees his hero for who he really is, and his hero is this guy named Ace. They just call him Ace. He's played by Sting, who just does a great job. I mean, Sting, back in the day, back in the late 70s with the Police, was probably one of his most charismatic moments in his whole career. And this, here, he just nails it. He just chews up the scene. It's amazing. And in this scene, beforehand, when we were looking at the gang riots, he's cool. He has this great hair. He has this great suit. He has this great scooter. And at the end of the film, what do we see him doing? He's a fucking bellboy. And this fucks with the main character's head so much that he just steals Sting's character's scooter and he just runs off. So we need to understand what's happening here. Basically, what he loved, the mod culture, as we're speaking of, what he loved and felt like he was a part of, suddenly shows its shady sides. Suddenly everything he romanticized, everything he dreamed of, suddenly shows as this momentary moment of triumph. It's nothing that goes forever. Suddenly, his heroes are bellboys. Suddenly, the girl of his dreams, to his eyes probably, kinda looks like a slut. Everything he dreamed of, everything that he felt like would go on forever, is destroyed in his eyes. And throughout the film, there's a lot of talk about being a part of something, being somebody, at least being a part of some group. Because you should not be lonely. You should have some form of identity. And he had an identity. But at the end, even he realizes, he sees it with his own eyes, that it's all a lie. It's all an image. There's nothing behind it, unless you actually make something out of it. And nobody does. And he definitely doesn't. He just thinks the image is cool. And the songs are cool. And the dances are cool. And Sting is cool. And Steph is hot. But everything's fucking destroyed. And that's what really gets to me. The film does such a good job of showing how being young works. We want to be a part of something. We want to be something bigger. We go for certain shallow goals and we don't really see the big thing. We don't really see the big picture because honestly, we're not mature enough to see it. But then the film shows us how we start to learn. And this could definitely get to us. And we see that happening to the main character. The last 20 minutes of this movie is basically just him moping around. Like, he has this face and he hates everything. He hates everybody. He's confused. He doesn't know what to do. He wants to kill himself. He actually almost commits suicide. And with other films, this would be just a waste of time. I want to see something happen. But no, we've seen this breakdown build up. So when he's just moping around for the last 20 minutes, we get why this is going on. And we're so invested in it. And of course, the Who soundtrack does help. But still, we're invested in what this character's doing and how he's feeling, what he's saying. And at the end, he steals, like I said, he steals Ace's scooter and he runs towards the cliff. And at the very end of the cliff, he jumps off the motorcycle and the scooter goes down and it's just destroyed. And that's the last scene, which is obviously trying to symbolize the death of mod culture. Or at least the death of the shady and shallow side of mod culture. Or, if you want to see the bigger picture, the death of the shady and shallow side of any culture that, young people try to get, young people, I sound like a fucking old hag, but, people like me, people who are young, people in their fucking 20s who don't know shit about life, including me, I'm a teen, no, people in their late teens and their 20s, let's get the big picture in here. People in their late teens and their 20s, and the style that they go to, even though they know that they don't know that it's an image, but it's still an image nonetheless. It's nothing but an image unless you actually make something out of it. That's really the main thing it's trying to say. It's basically a huge commentary on not only how people who are young are confused and conflicted and are trying to grasp onto something that's almost not there, but it's also trying to talk about how any culture, any gang, any group can only be a shallow image unless you actually make something out of it. The Who made something out of it. The Jam made something out of it. Some punk bands made something out of it. But unless you actually make something out of it, you're nothing. You're just part of the big group. You're not an individual. And I love how this film just nails that. It's one of the best films about being young and how shitty that is. It's a fucking. I'm sweating like a motherfucker. I need to shower, but like, it's a fucking masterpiece. I love that. Here are the fucking notes, man. I fucking love this movie. It's amazing. It's easily a fucking masterpiece. I'm gonna give it the masterpiece rating. I don't know how I'll see this film in my 40s or my 50s. I don't give a shit. For now, it's amazing. It's an amazing film. Everybody should go see it. Everybody who hates The Who should go see it. Everybody who loves The Who should kill themselves if they haven't seen it, or if they're planning on not seeing it, because it's fucking amazing. I don't give a shit about the lighting now. Just watch it. Watch it. It's amazing. My nose looks terrible in the dark. Okay. Quadrophenia, masterpiece. Watch it now. Bye.